Today we are in Job. We've had a bit of an introduction this week into what to expect from Job and how Job kicks off, how wealthy he is. They established that. And today we're going to focus on Job chapter 13. Real easy just to go straight into, the heavenly council and all that goes on there. But we're going to focus on Job 13. Good morning, Miss Janice. And in Job 13, God has allowed Satan to tempt Job. He's tempting him to despair and turn from God. Job is covered in sores and boils. Good morning, Miss Thelma. And he's having to scrape those off with broken shards of pottery. Is that an image or what? I saw a guy one time in Albuquerque doing something similar with a pair of scissors, and the image just kind of burns into your brain. It's never coming out. Ever. So then, in his grief, remember Job has lost 10 children and all of his great wealth in one fell swoop. The perfect storm of disastrous disappointment. And then in his grief, three friends, we'll call them friends with air quotes, come and sit with him. And not content to keep their mouths shut, these three men speculate as to why this great tragedy has befallen their buddy. So they make the case that Job must have committed some heinous sin and offended God. That tells a lot about their worldview, a lot about their understanding of how Yahweh works. And Job argues back that this is not the case and that he would like to actually state his own case, to argue with God. Those are his words. And I think that's quite brazen of him. But this terrifying enterprise of arguing with God is only terrifying because we are on the other side of Job. We say that because we have Job as the example for why you don't want to do that. So we're going to pick up in Job 13, if you're there, starting in verse 1, going through 16. And this is Job speaking back to his buddies. He says, "Behold, my eye has seen all this, my ear has heard and understood it. What you know, I also know. I am not inferior to you. But I would speak to the Almighty, and I desire to argue with God." Man, what a sentence. Just bold. We'll call it bold. "But you smear with lies. You are all worthless physicians. Oh, that you would be completely silent, and that it would become your wisdom." The best way on earth to tell somebody to shut up. I love it. "Please hear my argument and listen to the contentions of my lips. Will you speak what is unjust for God and speak what is deceitful for him? Will you show partiality for him? Will you contend for God? Will it be well when he examines you? Or will you deceive him as one deceives a man? He will surely reprove you if you secretly show partiality. Will not his majesty terrify you, and the dread of him fall on you? Your memorable sayings are proverbs of ash. Your defenses are defenses of clay. Be silent before me so that I may speak, and let come on me what may. Why should I take my flesh in my teeth and put my life in my hands? Though he slay me, I will hope in him. Nevertheless, I will argue my ways before him. This also will be my salvation, for a godless man may not come before his presence." Job has, good morning, Mr. Lynch, and as he will continue to throughout this book, set these worthless friends in their place. Their logic is, you've got bad things happening, God must be mad at you. Job fires back with, well, that doesn't make any sense. I haven't done anything wrong. Job is right. Their logic doesn't pan out. And in the narrative scope of the book of Job paints him as a righteous man from the start. That he's done nothing morally wrong in the narrative. Job, however, is in a similar eye for an eye line of thought when it comes to God. And this is why he wants to argue with God. They say something terrible, you've done something terrible, so terrible things are happening to you. Job says, I haven't done anything terrible, but terrible things are happening to me. These come from the hand of God, therefore I need to argue with God and state my case. Even after such a powerful line like verse 15, where he says, "Though he slay me, I will hope in him." Like that's a strong verse right there. Job then follows it with, "Nevertheless, I will argue my ways before him." So it kind of undercuts how awesome the first half of that verse is. It's not quite the righteous hoping in the Lord we tend to attach to that verse. It makes you wish Job had just kind of just stopped talking right there. Just, nevertheless, though he slay me, I will hope in him. And didn't just shut up right there. You'd be great. But he continues to push and press his case. What we have to do when we're interpreting Job here and most of the rest of the book is to interpret it in light of the conclusion. That is the confrontation between God and Job. The last 5 chapters put the rest of the book into perspective. In the concluding exchange between God and Job, God never answers why he allows Job to suffer. Not once. Instead, he paints a picture of all that he has done, God, and continues to do to make the universe function. The Lord is working at such a level that he is above question. And he looks down at Job and basically says, well, look who knows so much. If you're going to argue your case with me, let's see if you're even qualified. Where were you when I did X, Y, Z through, an infinite alphabet? And Job had claimed in verse 16 that his personal righteousness was to be his salvation before the presence of the majestic King of Glory. But then we see in Job 42:6 that Job retracts his argument against God after beholding the Lord in the whirlwind. His righteousness was not enough. God is proven just and right by merit and authority of his station and his power. So today, we're going to reflect on that throughout our day. Whatever comes our way, it's passed through the hands of a just and a trustworthy God. And though he slay me, I will hope in him.